I'm actually photographing this because this is the most bizarre. I don't know how I feel.
I'm not going to do too much talking for the intro to this video because I believe there is one man that should do the talking, because as you can see, I'm down at Tom Hartley Cars. I'm with Carl Hartley. We are stood next to a McLaren Speedtail, and as you can tell by the title, you're giving me the keys to the car.
Yeah, which you know, the fact that you seem so surprised in that is making me kind of regret that. You're like, I can't believe you let me drive it. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Well, this is going to be the fastest car I've ever driven.
Okay.
Not sure whether it's going to be the most expensive car that I've driven. Definitely on public roads. I've driven a Koenigsegg Agera RS.
Yeah, okay.
But this is something special and unique that you have purchased.
Yep.
And it has been in stock for a month, maybe?
Yeah, maybe 6 weeks.
Okay. And obviously, I've seen it across your socials. There is something different about seeing this in the flesh versus photos that I have to get out of the way first, because this is absolutely beautiful, but I wrote it off in photos.
Yeah, do you know what? It's one of those things. I think the colour and I think the shape of the car, some cars don't photograph very well.
Yeah.
And you think, you know, does it look better in the showroom under the false light, or does it look better outside under the natural light? And I thought, it doesn't look great in either, but when you see it in the flesh, it's like it's the first time you've ever seen one.
It really is. It is
the size presence gets you to start.
Okay, stand there. I'm going to.
I'm not the best example because I'm like 5 foot something very short.
Can you lie down? Can you? Because there is.
Not lying down.
Look at the size of it.
There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a bit. This is 5.2 meters.
And here at the back is where the uniqueness of the car really shows off, because named the Speedtail quite fittingly.
I mean, it should have stopped here.
Yeah.
But they thought, no, we wanted to go faster.
There is so much that I want to get into with this car, which is going to happen when we go out on the drive. And because it has 3 seats, we've got one other person.
We have a special guest.
We have a special guest.
Elton John, everybody!
You can actually see him in the reflection over there. He's just replying to some messages. But Sam is here because he actually knows quite a lot about the McLaren Speedtail. I don't know that much. Obviously, you've experienced the last 6 weeks with it. You've got to know it quite well. There are so many little secrets about it.
You still find and see different things every time you look at it.
Tell me about the £12,000 optional extra that we might not be able to show.
Oh, you might be able to see it. So, I was looking through the spec list of this car, and the cost of some of the extras were just astronomical.
Yeah.
Like, just the interior was £27,000.
I'm pretty sure you can get paint that's 100 grand.
Yeah, well, this paint was not quite that much, but it was 25 grand, I think it was. So, but that was like just normal in comparison to all the other extras.
Get it painted.
So there was one extra which was £12,000, and it said something like illuminated chassis number.
Yeah.
So I've gone over to the chassis number that's on the windscreen of the car, and I'm like, that can't be 12 grand because every car has this. Why are they charging people for this? And it wasn't until I researched into it a bit more and I opened the car of a night time that I seen something which was truly amazing, and I think it's worth every single penny of £12,000. So let's see, I'll show you.
Go on.
So firstly,
I mean, the key even resembles the car.
Yeah, kind of.
Like the shape of it.
Yeah, kind of. Copying Pagani there, you see. So, you're not going to be a getaway driver in this car. So if you have a look, where's it at? You need to be inside, but in there, can you see?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll do it inside. It says VIN, and then the number of the VIN, and it illuminates through the carbon fibre.
What?
Yeah, which I think is really cool. So,
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I got it.
you see?
Yeah, I got it.
See, at night time, that's really, really cool.
And it's in the colour of the car. Is that on purpose?
Well, I'm going to say it was specially ordered that way.
Because 12 grand for that.
Well, look, it's only $6 a side.
That's true. That's true. You get 2 of them.
You get 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's not like you get 1 of them.
Yeah, that's
that would
true.
be a piss take.
It's stunning. The details, the level of carbon fibre. McLaren build cars for a purpose. They don't build cars like Lamborghini, let's say, where you drive a car for the thrill. You feel like you're waving a sledgehammer around on the roads. Whereas this, it's built for the road. It's not a track-focused car.
Which is what we talked about earlier.
It's not being sold on Nürburgring lap times.
Exactly.
This is a unique bespoke project that McLaren have spent hundreds of millions of pounds building to resemble the McLaren F1, which is arguably the most famous modern classic of our generation.
Well, it's
ever car.
Yeah, well, it's the 250 GTO McLaren F1.
Yeah,
that's the two.
That's it.
That's the two. I was under the impression, and I still am, that one day that the Veyron might become part of that elite group.
A Concord moment within the automotive world.
Exactly, just something that was so left field and so ridiculous and so expensive.
Yeah,
that it's got to be.
So costing then, this new was
2.275 million, so just over 2.25 million.
And you've got it up for
2.150. So
under list.
Don't
know whether that's a bargain or not.
Well, this is the only one for sale in Europe.
Okay.
And the UK.
Yeah. Obviously, doesn't matter if it's left or right-hand drive.
Well, it's middle drive. And I've known of these cars for selling for €1 million over list.
Okay.
When people got very, very, very excited. This is one of these cars people got very, very, very excited when they first came out because it's new McLaren F1 and whatever. And a lot of people find it very hard to get their head around the car because until you sit in one, drive one, and look at one in the flesh, it's kind of hard to appreciate really what it is. Yeah. And I think it's kind of ahead of its time where we won't appreciate this car for another 5 years.
Yeah, maybe longer. But one thing that I would like to mention, in with the price of the car. No. Oh,
at an extra cost,
is this number plate. I reckon. Would you throw it in?
I might do.
How cool is that as a combination? Here's the thing. I was going to wait until the drive, but I'm going to say it right now because, like you had the Bugatti Veyron, you sold the Bugatti Veyron for the Pagani Huayra.
Right.
You wouldn't sell the Pagani Huayra for that, in the sense that you're swapping one car out for another. But here's where I think the Speedtail sits by itself within the automotive world. It's a car that every collection should have.
Well, I can name a few collections that are very well known to the world.
Yeah.
The car collector in car collection in
Bahrain.
Yes, the Bahrain one. So they have CLK GTR, they have Pagani's Honda, Pagani Huayra, Porsche GT1, McLaren F1, F50, F40, Enzo, Speedtail.
Yeah.
A Speedtail is going to be a very integral part of a real collection. It's going to be one of those cars that some of these cars we're talking about, CLK GTRs, Porsche GT1s, McLaren F1s, they're tens of millions of pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, this is expensive.
Yeah.
It's 2.25 million, but it's not tens of millions of pounds.
Yeah.
And it has the potential to one day be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because of its uniqueness.
Exactly.
It's not a McLaren with added bits on. This is a completely bespoke project in the same way something like a Bugatti Veyron is, which is probably why I would say in the next 10 years the Veyron might surpass the value of a Chiron.
Numbers wise, I think so. I've always maintained that. One thing that's special about this car, which is very similar to Pagani, is there's a low number car today is 500 cars.
Yeah.
If you've got a car which is one of 500, it's a limited edition, it's a low numbered car. This is one of 106. The Pagani's one of 100.
Yeah.
They are proper low cars.
That just don't exist anymore.
Of course they don't.
Normally it's a limited run.
Yes.
As in, we'll build the car for 12 months, but we'll build as many as we possibly can get through the door.
And not number them.
And not number them.
Which means we really built it for 3 years. We're going to take it.
So I feel like we've talked enough about the car. And with this rain cloud, I don't know whether you can feel, but it has just started to rain.
It's about to go.
So what we will do is get prepared for my first and quite possibly only drive in a McLaren Speedtail. I don't know when I've had one drive in the McLaren P1, and I don't think I'll ever have an opportunity to drive a car like that again. I kind of feel like this moment right now, who knows what the future holds, but right now I think it's time that we get prepared and try and beat that rain cloud, drive in that direction where the blue sky is.
Well, look, it does 250 miles an hour, so
I was just about to
we
say.
can outrun the rain.
0 to 300 kph in 13 seconds. I've read some articles.
Okay. If you say so.
Is there a wait, or is it just?
You just sort of like. Oh, you had a pit stop halfway. Oh right, now I just fire in. Oh, there you go.
Room for one more.
Oh, Sam, welcome.
You smell nice.
Oh God.
Do I smell nice?
Yeah.
Ah,
They've been this close to you before.
Wow, this is cozy.
Yeah.
It's quite unnerving actually being. I guess don't crash.
this is really weird, having you both so close to my ears.
One thing you don't want to do in this car is fall out with somebody.
No, it's really awkward. As long as we get on car, because we can see each other.
Can you see each other from that?
Yeah, we can see each other.
Oh. Where's my seatbelt?
Over here.
Oh shit!
Let me help you, sir.
I'm wearing it.
This is mad.
Sorry, Carl, I just touched your leg.
Watch your,
As long as it was only the leg.
you thought it was my leg?
I'm actually photographing this because this is the most bizarre. I don't know how I feel.
Okay, so we need to remember to put the suspension up, which you know where it is on the McLaren on the right stalk. The right stalk.
That's your left, mate.
The right stalk.
Well, I'm
Jesus.
in the centre. I'm in
your right.
I'm in the centre of the car, so I don't know what's my
This is
right
your
and
right
left.
side.
Because he's in the centre, he doesn't know which way is right.
Makes no sense.
I'm
at all.
regretting this already.
All of the buttons are here. Start. What's that one? Velocity.
Yeah, don't press that.
Am I in drive? How do I know whether I'm in drive? There we go.
And have you got good visibility on those? Are you confident
Is
in
the
your...
suspension up? Oh, it is. Well done.
It is, yeah.
So,
Do you have to touch the fan?
well, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, here we go. Where shall we go, guys?
Somewhere safe.
This is bizarre beyond belief.
Watch out.
No,
Only a
it's-
£2 million car.
We're over the front wheel, Sam. So
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was nervous.
the rear is the rear.
more than open.
The rear of the car that we should be worried about.
So just get your bearings because you're in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, I'd like to think, being like riding a motorbike, that there is some element of how it translates to being in the centre of the road, being able to.
But when you're on a motorbike, you haven't got an extra.
That's
2-3 foot either side to think about.
Yeah, that is true.
First thing I noticed when I sat in this car was how there's so much glass around you. The roof, the windows that go up to the roof, this big area, this is another glass roof / side pillar. I mean, it's almost like the whole top is glass, like there's no roof.
This
And
is
because it's you know, let's be honest, it's quite cramped in here for 3 people, but that gives it more of an airy feel, I think. Less claustrophobic.
Well, I think we've just had proof in the sense that we can fit 3 adults that are mostly average sized, should we say?
I don't know what the mostly was all about. I feel like that was
Well, a bit
aimed,
targeted
that was a bit aimed in my
I was actually
direction.
saying Sam's really tall.
I'm awkwardly lanky. This is arguably the most futuristic in-car experience I've ever had.
Me
Yeah.
too.
And my ring's just gone off, so let me make sure no one's nicking my cars. 2 seconds, guys.
I wouldn't have left your car at that dealership there, right? Roger. It'd be sold before you get back.
How does it feel to drive?
I feel like I am in charge of. I feel like I'm in like a full-on fighter jet cockpit.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in an airplane.
Yeah.
It definitely feels more like an airplane.
Yeah.
It's a really weird feeling. Have you ever been, well, Carl will have been in an F1. Have you been in an F1? I was in a F1 GTR once, and that was way more extreme because you had roll cage, it was motorsport. I felt like I was sitting on the floor. This is weirdly luxurious. The leathers and the way it's all been styled.
I'm going to say that this ride quality is the best I've ever experienced on a supercar.
Classic McLaren though, isn't it?
Well,
Do you think?
it's softer than any McLaren I've experienced.
This car is built for the road.
Yeah.
It's not one of these track cars that you can drive on the road, but it's bumpy as hell, uncomfortable, doesn't have all your creature comforts. I mean, look how many screens are in there. 1, 2, 3. We've got 5 screens in this car. You know, and the quality of the leather, the amount of leather, it's got enough carbon fibre to make it feel very expensive.
Yes, you're right. It definitely feels expensive. I also feel like Paul is my chauffeur. Do you know what I mean?
Why has he got a hat on?
Yeah, I know. Onwards, but like captain, I want to call you like, faster captain.
So I'm more like a pilot.
You're more like a weird pilot.
I'm
now.
a private jet pilot.
It's got. I sort of feel like you shouldn't talk to us.
Oh.
Just with Carl and I sipping champagne back here.
The back of the chair is just our partition.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry
That's
about
exactly
us.
it.
You just drive the car, Jeffrey.
His driving style's real bad, isn't it? Yeah.
I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I should have sacked him ages ago. He's late for work.
Always late.
Fucking smells.
You
Always-
just said I smelled nice.
Always curbing wheels. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, you wouldn't want to curb the wheels with these.
No. You wouldn't definitely not want to watch that. I mean, I don't care what you do to your own Speedtail, but you do not curb the wheels of the Speedtail.
Does it feel urgent, that speed, or you just like
Not at all.
literally no?
Not at all.
Because I was saying it's quite it's not manic. It doesn't feel frantic from here.
Yeah, it feels really progressive. There is no real frightening throttle response, like some cars where you're scared of putting your foot on the right throttle too much.
Yeah. It delivers smoothly, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I'm just.
What's that Will Smith film where he was in the future?
iRobot.
It's kind of like This Belongs in iRobot.
It sounds like it does as well.
Yeah.
It feels like a concept car. I think there's a part of that is the fact of how we're all sitting, but it's not just that, because it's definitely the layout and the styling of all the dashboard, which is so different to McLaren's in general. But then it's the screens, it's the buttons. Like at the moment it looks super futuristic, but it could be that thing in 30 years that they'll be like, what were these guys doing?
Yeah.
Like an XJ220.
That's always a risk when you go so modern. That that's why, for instance, like a Veyron, will never date.
Classic look.
Because there's nothing inside of it to date.
Sure.
It hasn't got a screen.
Yeah.
It's got a few buttons. That's it. An F40 you've got a gear stick.
Yeah.
That's it.
At best, a much.
I still can't believe how long this car is. Like, I've constantly got to think about what the rear of the car is doing after I turn the steering wheel, because I can imagine it's in a completely different time zone.
But you think that because you know the size of it. But if I just plonked you in the driver's seat, it doesn't feel as big as it is.
You were getting nervous. That truck was coming directly towards me. It was avoiding you.
I don't even want to speak at this. This is awful.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this now. Cue Eminem lyrics, but my palms are sweaty.
Do you want to have a shot down the motorway? Just to get a bit more speed. Do you know what I mean?
I really wish I was sitting on Carl's side of the car. I think there'd be a little bit more.
I was strategically placed.
There's some cars coming at me left, right, and centre. He's going for the motorway. Oh God!
Carl told me to.
Don't do everything Carl tells you to do.
Get Sam to sell the GT3.
It's not my car, like you telling you.
That's an argument that you can have with Porsche.
What would they prefer, a car back or 20 grand profit?
50.
So, stop trying.
I'm just going to put it in active and then manual, so I put it.
As you're joining the motorway.
I mean, it's proper quick.
That is a joke.
It is proper quick.
That is a joke.
I reckon that was 40% throttle.
And only 70 miles an hour.
What? Woo. It's like nothing I've ever experienced accelerating.
But it pulls in such a different way because it's not like, you know, even a P1 which was like, oh, like mad. It's just like there's a magnet down the road somewhere that's just pulling
a really
it.
good analogy of it, actually.
Thanks, Carl.
You should do this for a living.
I'll look into it.
What I would like is still a rear view mirror here that's kind of zoomed in, because I would like to know what's going much further back than me. Because I want to know whether there's
The visibility's a little intense, isn't it?
No, on here, I'm sure there's you can click onto the reverse camera on one of these
Do you
screens.
want me to try and do it whilst we're...
So this is the air conditioning screen, so that's not going to work.
Tell me if I'm
Press
causing
the-
it a
press
crowd.
No.
Press the middle button, and then the button on the right, because that'll take you back to the main menu.
We've got media, phone, or settings.
Yeah.
Setting on connectivity, regional, lighting, driving preferences. Whoa! That was a dick move!
2 minutes we've been back. Carl's selling cars. Sam's uploading to Instagram. The fan going.
Made it back. Look, it's perfectly intact. I don't feel so. I think I need a cigarette of some
I
kind.
understand, that's fine. I'm having 2 minutes just to be like, whoa.
How do you think I feel? You're making it out as though it was my driving that was making you stressful.
Kind of was.
Why? I was as smooth and as composed as you can possibly be.
Sure.
I was very, very nervous. It's just so alien and nothing like I've ever experienced before, that not only was I trying to consume everything as it was happening, I was also very aware that the video was rolling, and it was raining.
I mean, honestly, but the weirdest thing is sitting in the UK where the steering wheel should be on the right hand side, having absolutely no control with cars coming towards you, and I'm just going, that's it's the weirdest experience ever. But I guess that's what you're paying for.
It's got to be it's got to be the closest thing you can get to being a pilot on the road.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think you're right.
like an aeroplane with wheels with no wings.
Yeah.
I want to actually sit in the middle if you don't mind. I just
I mean,
want
it
to
actually
see
has
what
wings.
it's like. In the...
I don't know how to summarise this. I really don't know how to summarise it.
It's awkward, really. It's you can't compare. You can't say, well, it's better than the such and such, or it's not as good as the such and such, because there's nothing like it. It's the first of its kind. You know, okay, forget the centre wheel drive for a second, because obviously you got the T50 that's coming out, and you got the McLaren F1, and there's been cars in the past that have had that, so you get that same experience. But forget that. Just the way it looks and the way it drives and the way it feels is just so completely different.
There's
isn't it, to everything else?
there is absolutely nothing that I've ever seen or experienced like that.
You're totally unique.
Which
you know.
Which is why me and Carl said when you weren't here, Sam, that there's a place for this in almost every collection.
Oh, if you've got all the money and all the cars, this makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it totally makes sense, because it's going to be like nothing else that you're ever going to have. You know, even if we spoke about Chirons and Huayras and everything else at this kind of level in terms of money and speed, this is unique to all of them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You can't compare it to any of them. You can compare a Chiron to a Veyron, or you can compare a Huayra to a E1, or you can put a LaFerrari in there, and it's all much of a muchness. This goes in, it's like, well, where, you know, it almost shouldn't even really be called a hypercar. It should be called a, I don't know what it should be called.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Better to drive than riding, maybe. That's all I can say.
I think it was
From
probably
my
the driver.
from my experience, it was smooth. It was easy. It took a little bit of getting used to, but I mean, Carl, thank you so much for allowing me to
Thank you.
to drive this.
Didn't catch fire as well. So that's always a bonus, isn't it?
It's always one, isn't it?
You can't go through a McLaren video without saying that. But as the race starts to come down again, I will leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, thank you to Carl, thank you to Tom Hartley Cars, for Sam as well for filling the third spot, getting 3 people in the Speedtail. It has completely blown my mind, and I'm sure this video will probably not do it justice, just how bizarre this is, but take our word for it. to go out on the UK road on a traditionally British summer day, grey and wet. Yeah, that is a truly special and unique experience. See you soon. Take care. Goodbye.